Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Kaylee and I have been shooting for the last few months on the X4 Air and the X5, and we have a comparison video to figure out whether it is worth the extra 150 bucks to buy the X5 or save 150 and purchase the Insta360 X4 Air.
So the Insta360 X5 has been our go-to action camera for the past few years. Well, we had like the X3, X4, and then the X5, and it is the only one that we really shoot with. So we were excited to try out the X4 Air. The X4 Air is about 20% smaller and lighter than the X5, so that is definitely a pro if you are traveling around and you're worried about the weight of your gear. The X4 Air is about 165 grams versus the X5, which is 200 grams.
They both have really similar build qualities. Although the X4 Air is smaller, they both are very durable. They both have replaceable lenses, and the buttons are fairly similar on both the cameras. Although on the Insta360 X4 Air, there is only one button on the front of the camera here. This is a feature that I actually quite like because when you have big mitts on when you're skiing or snowboarding and you're going to try to press the record button, it's really nice just to have one single button on the front so you know if you pressed it or not. Because on the X5, there are the two buttons here, which is great if you aren't wearing gloves, but when you are, it is kind of difficult to know if you press the right button or not.
The X4 Air has a marginally smaller battery. If you are filming in 8K at 30 frames per second, the X4 Air will film for about 88 minutes versus 93 minutes with the X5, so not a huge difference.
The X5 also charges way quicker than the X4 Air. So the X5 can charge 100% in 35 minutes, whereas the X4 Air can charge up to 100% in about 57 minutes. So if you are doing a ton of shooting with the X4 Air, would recommend picking up a second battery, whereas with the X5, the battery lasts longer and it can charge up way quicker. The X5 has two Pro imaging chips and one AI chip, whereas the X4 only has a single AI chip. And this makes a huge difference when it comes to low light and dynamic range. The X5 has the pure video mode, so shooting at night or in situations where there is not a lot of light, like indoors or on really cloudy days, the X5 is going to have a much better image than the X4 Air.
Yeah, I actually took the X5 to Europe this fall and tried out the pure video mode at night and in a bunch of different situations, and it's huge. It makes a huge difference. The low light shooting with the Insta360s in the past has been kind of one of the most challenging parts.
Definitely one of their shortfalls.
Yeah, so that pure video mode, if you are worried about image quality or you're going to want to be taking a lot of footage at night or in different situations, it might actually be worth the upgrade just for that alone.
Testing out the low light video on the Insta360 X4 Air versus the X5, as well as the audio to see how well it sounds. Both cameras are pretty similar when it comes to audio. Testing out the low light video on the Insta360 X4 Air versus the X5, as well as the audio to see how well it sounds. Both cameras are pretty similar when it comes to audio. So if you are in the market for an Insta360 and you are really going back and forth between the X4 Air and the X5, if you are somebody who's going to be using these cameras a lot, if you are looking for the absolute best quality and you're willing to spend a little bit of extra money to get that quality, the X5 is definitely the way to go. We find ourselves grabbing the X5 a lot more than the X4 Air because the weight and size difference are pretty marginal. There isn't a lot there, and it's just worth the extra weight and size to use the X5 to get those better, cleaner, crisper shots. But if you are somebody who is new to 360 cameras and you are just kind of having fun with them and shooting family adventures and would like to save a little bit of money, then the X4 Air is going to be a great option. It's still a fantastic camera.
If you're not doing this for a job or you're not worried about having really high quality content, the X4 Air would be very sufficient. It does give really nice image quality. It's just not quite as good as the X5.
Yeah, especially in bright light outside on a sunny day, this is a great camera. But as soon as the sun goes down or it's cloudy and not as light, this is a much better camera, and you're going to see a noticeable drop in performance when you are shooting a low light on the X4 Air.
Another thing to keep in mind is like what you're going to be using your footage for, because where we see a huge difference is when we're using the content for YouTube videos, when we need 4K content, when we're editing things for high quality reels and stuff like that.
If you're looking to purchase an X4 Air, it is going to cost you about $400 US right now. But we think spending the extra $150 for the X5 is absolutely worth it. If you guys have any questions about both of these cameras, feel free to leave a comment below. We'd love to get back to you.
We do have a code for free accessories for either one of these cameras, so we will put that in the description below.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you next week.